What's going on? It's like propaganda. You know, I wasn't aware of what propaganda was, man, but basically if you want to understand what propaganda is, you just got to look at advertising. You know what I'm saying? Like when they show you a cardboard cutout hamburger that looks all perfect and beautiful and plush and all, it's all painted, it's all fake, it ain't even real. That's part of it. It's an illusion, it's magic. It's when the Masons accepted magicians into their guild. They taught them all the secrets of misdirection. You know what I'm saying? And this is part giving birth to our modern ministry of propaganda. You know, I was making fun doing this mock saying I'm the minister of propaganda. That was only to point out that there is such a thing as the ministry of propaganda. I mean, in George Orwell, that would have been called the ministry of truth, which is double speech. And basically, what you could say is I'm an anti-propagandist, and it's just like the Indian tactics of the pre-Revolutionary War. The fight in the Indians is what made the American fighters tough, man. Is because they learned their tactics. It's the same thing, you know. Now that I know what propaganda is, I know how it works. I know how double speech works. I know that it's magic. Magic basically is psychology. It's just science, dude, really. But what is beyond what is science and is supernatural, that's where magic goes from magicianry to actual spiritism, where you're connected into the dark spirits, on the other hand. Which can there's power there, you know, but it's earthly, evil, you know, dark side of the force type power. You know what I'm saying? Hate to borrow from these occultists like Lucas, but I mean they're even though these occultists, man, see everything cut from a kind of messed up point of view, they do have a lot of insights into certain things, you know, that which do apply. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'll say, hey, maybe you should listen after you become strong in the truth. Well, now you can start to examine the lies and see how what snares and stumbling blocks and traps they use to take over people's minds and induct them and initiate them into these other schools. You know what I'm saying? Which it's many schools, but in the end result is the same result. You know, you're a Lucy now. Hey, you graduated. By the way, you're a Lucy. You know what I'm saying? Which it's a big sick joke, man. But basically, here's one of the ways that this real propaganda works and the stuff they use against you. They say 9 out of 10 doctors approve this product. Well, what kind of doctors? There's many different kinds of doctors, and which ones are not on your payroll that you know employed to do this survey study? They never tell you that information. All they just say is 9 out of 10 doctors. So, are these doctors, you know what I'm saying, practicing at the moment? You know what I'm saying, or are they just phantoms, apparitions that, you know, if we go look up their names and their information, we find out that they don't exist. They died 100 years ago. For instance, this is one of the ways. But through them constantly bombarding us with propaganda, and then once you break through and see how the shit works, you could become an effective anti-propagandist. The best way to do that is you take their garbage propaganda and then you attach it with the truth. The truth. You expose it. You show it's like like if there's a guy in the audience while the magician is up on stage doing these things, and he's like, "Hey, you're hiding that behind your leg." And then, you know, he ruins the performance because he's not playing along. He's not bending his will to accept that it's magic. Instead, he's seeing it as a trick for what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what propaganda is. It's just a fucking trick. And so many people succumb to a bunch of elaborate tricks. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, people might be suspicious of me because I talk so much about deception. Because like I said, I'm not a practitioner of deception. I'm just a practitioner of the truth. And that when you try to figure out the truth, you got to go through all these deceptions. So therefore you learn to fight like the enemy. You know what I'm saying? Because you studied his tactics to the point where now he can't deceive you no more because you know what it is to be deceived. You know what I'm saying? That's the first step. You know, it's a humbling experience. No, man, it's like what does his name say? The dude who wrote Huck Finn. He said it's easier to fool people than it is to convince them they've been fooled. And I mean, there's our conundrum. The hand is quicker than the damn eye. Period. If you're going off eye, You're always behind, man. People can move faster than what you can perceive, man. I mean, if just by knowing that helps you, you gotta go beyond your eye to really operate. And that's something that's in the kung fu as well, dude. It's like Tai Chi says, one of the reasons you do the swimming aspect of things is so that your body learns to see without your eye. You know what I'm saying? It senses, it perceives things. It can sense subtle shifts. It can sense energy, heat, cold, wind. It can perceive noise. You know what I'm saying? Your feet. You got to use all of your faculties, man, when you're engaged in really feeling. You know what I'm saying? Feeling is like, you can get so good at feeling, you can subtly perceive somehow without even really your actual knowledge and engagement. Your mind just will go automatically at a point where someone punches at you from a angle where you're not looking, but somehow you knew they were gonna hit you, and then you fucking stop them. You know what I'm saying? That's part of this. This is one of the practical applications of this. But I mean, like I was saying, listen, this also can lead you up into carnality, where the sword becomes your ultimate, uh, you know, uh, weaponry, and then you're falling short again there, because like I said, even this flesh, what is the soul that makes the flesh move? You know what I'm saying? Being aware of the flesh, like, listen, my body, my senses, my mind, my heart, my feeling, my experiences. This is all mostly just things that pertain to this physical nature of reality, but they don't delve too deeply into the unseen parts of reality, where when you think of consciousness itself, it's almost like it is independent of the body. And listen, this is just one way you could delve into that, through basically through sciences. And like I said, I don't like to downplay things, but sometimes you got to just call them as they are. These are just sciences. They're occult sciences, not in the sense that I'm an occultist, but the fact that just so many people are unaware of these things, that it makes it an occult knowledge, which is a bad rap for the word occultism, because it's not really a cult. It's just become a cult. Like, here's the thing. If 2 plus 2 equals 4, but people have believed 2 plus 2 equals 5 now for so long, hundreds of years, if you said, hey, man, the math says that 2 plus 2 equals 4, that would be occult knowledge at that point. You know what I'm saying? So they could call you a cultist because 2 plus 2 equals 4, and everyone's been lied to that 2 plus 2 equals 5. I mean, that's just another way. And I mean, it just provokes higher operationing in whatever it is that you're trying to pursue. Basically, is what I'm saying here. And you gotta train things. I mean, same thing. It's like, look, training in your biblical things is reading your Bible, knowing it, being able to recite it at the proper time in the proper situations, but also being able to do what it says inside of there as well, without having to go and consult the book every time. It's got to be ingrained. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be committed to memory, and not only memory, but muscle memory, like mental memory, where you can just conjure it up out of seemingly from nowhere. It'll just almost conjure itself. You know what I'm saying? It'll manifest itself, dude. And I mean, that's exactly what it says. You got to have these things written on your heart. You know what I'm saying? So people can't take away what's written in your heart, dude. They really can't. They can try all they want, but the worst they can do is kill you. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? And the Bible tells us, man, we won't see that second death anyway, so you ain't got to worry about it. But going through it, I know it's not easy. When I look at myself in the mirror and I think of death, you know what I'm saying? My heart starts beating fast, and my breath gets shallower. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm that close all the time to it anyway, and I'm aware of it. You know what I'm saying? It's a miracle I'm even here now. I mean, really, what I do is I go back and I think of all the times I've almost died or been in dangerous situations, and yet I'm still alive, and that makes me lose my breath. You know what I'm saying? It's that crazy. Only I know exactly what I'm saying here. I mean, but anyone who knows me, you can interject, to what I mean about that. You know what I'm saying? Which is fine. But yeah, man. It's crazy.